Glow.
Hey, Phil.
Once again, we meet again on Friday.
Yeah, we have to stop meeting like this.
Oh, yeah,
But it's time for another edition of Chaos and Amazement.
where we explore the impact of digital technology on our daily lives. And my name is Verheyen.
And my name is Willaerts, and together we've built a platform called socialrunners.com where marketing people like me can hire creative people like Phil.
So, this week,
Yeah. Remember last week when we talked about the cage fight between
Elon Musk.
Elon
Ding, ding,
Musk?
ding. Yeah.
You still don't have the ball, so I can
No,
mention
no.
his name
Yeah,
as much as I want. And Mark Zuckerberg,
yeah.
right? So it looked at both. It was a little bit like these like apes trying to show off one alpha male to the other one. Um, and but it's been funny, you know. What do you think it will happen this year? Yes or no? What are your bets?
Mm, I'm seeing a lot more of this cage fight now on Twitter, Facebook, even TikTok. So maybe it will happen because Elon Musk is also one guy that if there is a challenge, he wants to conquer it. So,
Well, he turned 52 uh, this week. And how do I know? Because his mummy
mm,
is on Twitter. Her name is May Musk. She used to be a model, still looks great. And she has told her son that he can't do it. So mommy says no.
yeah, if mommy says no, then it's getting difficult.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting because I think I mentioned Lex Friedman a couple of times. He's a really interesting podcaster,
Yeah,
YouTuber. So he's the guy. He's got his style, you know. He just wears a suit. There's this black background. He's also he's got like only one facial expression.
yeah,
Basically, he's
really talking slow.
slowly. It's
Yeah,
very serious,
yeah.
and he's the one who's interviewed everyone, including Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, all the great names.
Yeah.
So not just anyone. Lex Friedman, I didn't know that, but he is also a fan of mixed martial arts, and he's also a fighter himself. I think jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And so Lex Friedman is actually trying to make it happen. This cage fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and he's posting pictures of him practicing with both Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. So there's and again we're looking at Mommy Musk's Twitter account, and she's retweeted Lex Friedman. So the original tweets by Lex Friedman containing two pictures of him. Let me see. I think him getting pinned down by Elon Musk,
Yeah.
and then another one where he's floored, Lex Friedman floored by Mark Zuckerberg. I think it's great, Lex Friedman. So so Lex Friedman says, I did an impromptu training session with Elon Musk for a few hours yesterday. Extremely impressed with his strength, power, and skill on the feet and on the ground. It was epic. It's really inspiring to see Elon and Mark doing martial arts.
Oh,
But I think, let me see, I lost my. But I think the world is served far better if they train martial arts but not fight in the cage. That is interesting. That said, as Elon says, the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. I'm there for them no matter what. I like him like
he's
Friedman.
yeah,
At first, I thought he was just trolling both of them,
yeah, yeah.
but I think he's just as serious in real life
But
as
he was a student at Harvard, also
yeah,
AI.
yeah, and his job is at MIT.
Yeah,
So he's and I think originally he's Russian or his parents were Russian, and he has that in common with Vitaly Buterin.
yeah.
I think is a super smart guy, but he's trying to make sense of this cage fight. So it's going to be funny. We'll see, we'll see. And then an ongoing discussion, of course, is what are we going to do with AI, right? So there's a topic every week. Do we need to regulate AI? And if yes, who is going to do this? Because so far we don't have like a planetary government
No, no, definitely not.
yet.
Mhm.
And the only truly global regulation for harmful things is on the level of nuclear
Uh-huh.
arms. So that's the only thing. Apart from that, is governments and institutions and private companies and individuals and all over the place. So even if we as humanity could agree on a set of rules to govern AI and to make sure that it doesn't destroy humanity, who would enforce them? So, well, there's a bit of an unexpected party that entered
Okay.
this arena. It's the Vatican.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, the
I
Pope
didn't
is
see that one coming.
the Pope is using AI. Okay, that's
um,
new.
well, so the news the titles, that's typical, of course. The headlines in the news always make it look a lot cooler than it actually is, because it's clickbait, of course. But Pope Francis has endorsed a set of guidelines by an institution called ITEC, which is short for the Institute for Technology, Ethics, and Culture. And so they've written a handbook, a full handbook, which is an operational roadmap for ethics in the age of disruptive technologies. It's a comprehensive guide that empowers all of the important stakeholders, including tech companies, to navigate complex ethical dilemmas posed by AI. So it's not the Vatican that wrote this handbook; it's the
Hmm.
institute, but it's been endorsed by Pope Francis. I must say I like it a lot more than that. Remember that super lame open letter? I was just thinking about that on my way here in the car. How lame is an open letter? I mean, if you want to, this is like the worst communication possible. You
Hmm.
want to say you let your A and you want to say something to B.
Yeah,
You could post a literal letter,
yeah,
so it's from to, or
yeah,
you send an email. So that's communication, right? You have this channel, a message, and then it goes from A to B, and then it arrives.
yeah. But it's also a little
But
bit of manipulation
well,
of the
yes, that's
people.
exactly my point. That's why
Yeah.
I'm getting all worked up again. Why would you just put it all in the open and say, I am A, I'm going to send a message to B, but I want the world to be a witness and look at my message that I'm sending to B. I mean, that was still rolling my eyes about that one. But it's of course a discussion that needs to be. We have to make the world has to make a decision about what are the different levels, how dangerous is AI, and then be a little bit more pragmatic about it.
But it's difficult now because we are in war with Russia and China, so
Yeah,
they won't tell what they have.
the geopolitics are getting more and more
Yeah.
complicated. So the chance of coming out with something like what was done for the nuclear
Hmm.
arms, I think somewhere in the 50s or 60s. That's but the Vatican, yeah, I liked it. I was looking for a trace of that because I couldn't find it on the Vatican News press releases website, and neither on, Francis, Pope Francis. We're not on a first name basis. Has the coolest Twitter handle on the whole planet. Do you know what his Twitter handle is?
No.
It's in Latin, of course. It's
Okay.
Pontifex.
Wow.
At
But he
Pontifex.
is active on Twitter.
Very active, yes, actually. And he's got like 60 million followers. Yeah.
Does he do it by himself or
No, of course not.
he
Of
has a
course
P?
not.
Okay.
But I couldn't find any trace of that on his Twitter account. But it's a cool idea, and I thought to myself, so I'm using ChatPDF because I'm a cheap bastard. I don't want to pay the premium for ChatGPT, because ChatGPT has the exact same feature, which is you can upload a PDF, like something boring,
Hmm.
a scientific paper, for example, and then you can use the web or the app interface to chat with the PDF, which sounds a lot weirder than it is, but you can use regular daily language
Hmm.
and ask questions about the content of the PDF, and then the AI actually understands
Yeah.
what is in the PDF and then kind of answers you in normal day-to-day language. So not in like legal language or scientific language. So I use it quite a lot actually. I've used it, for example. So as you know, this summer I'm spending with local entrepreneurs and organizations in Africa, and then one of them had a business plan written by an economist. So That was a bit tough read, tough read. I just uploaded it and then was able to translate the economic language into marketing language, which is my language really, and was able to come up pretty quickly with a marketing strategy that matched the business
Yeah.
strategy. Anyway, I used Chat PDF, which is for now still a free tool, to ask questions to this handbook that has been endorsed by the Vatican. The official title is "Bridging the Gap Between the Theory of Ethical Principles and the Practice of Technology Ethics in Organizations." Yeah.
What question do you have? I will type it. Or
Well, yeah, just what is dangerous AI, for example? What is dangerous AI? I hope it doesn't say I'm just a language model, because so the text itself doesn't explain what dangerous AI is. However, so I'm just reading from the answer. The people who wrote this handbook do discuss concerns about the collection and use of data sets, privacy and security issues, and the need for guardrails to ensure the well-being of stakeholders when using powerful tools like AI and advanced technologies. Additionally, the text, and then it points to the exact
Wow.
place in the PDF where that is addressed. Additionally, the text mentions the societal risks associated with the rapid development and deployment of digital surveillance techniques. That's with little external oversight. I mean, it's actually, I'm now convinced that this handbook actually makes sense
yeah.
because someone explained it to me, what it handles. So getting back to the specific term dangerous AI, while this term is not mentioned, it can be inferred that the texts highlight the importance of ethical considerations and responsible development and use of AI to mitigate potential risks and ensure the safety and well-being of individuals and society. So now I'm thinking, okay, so I uploaded the primer, so like the summary of the whole handbook, but now I'm thinking this handbook actually handles a lot of the important issues without going like, oh my God, the sky's falling, we're all gonna die. And it makes sense. So
Yeah.
and that's what I like about this specific tool, Chat PDF.
Yeah, I will use it.
Exactly.
Wow.
This is but you already have ChatGPT premium
Yeah,
version, right?
ChatGPT Premium
Well,
and
that
Midjourney
has
Premium.
the same feature. So
okay.
you can just use ChatGPT, upload a
Okay.
PDF there, and do the exact same thing because it's built on top of ChatGPT. So it's no use to go somewhere else.
Okay.
So I do this a lot. I actually upload a PDF version of my handbook, Content Marketing Like a Pro, and then I was a guest. I was being interviewed in a podcast show earlier this week about content marketing, and I was expecting questions about what is the place of podcasting in an overall content marketing strategy. I was expecting that kind, and I did. I wrote I wrote a book in December, right? So I used the exact same tool, and then could ask. What is the place of podcasting in an overall content marketing strategy? And then I quoted my own book.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's I'm using it almost every day, and it caps you. You can only do like 3 per 24 hours, and then there are periods in time when it gets too busy on the server and you can't do anything in the free version. In the free version of Chat PDF. So for a while, I thought it was not going to, as long as this one is free, I'm not converting to. Do they say pro or premium in ChatGPT?
Premium.
Business.
Premium, I think.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and use free tools for as long as I can.
This week I was also once again really enthusiastic about Midjourney.
Midjourney.
Yeah. There was a geek shop in Brussels on the Nieuwstraat. And
oh yeah, for geeks with
for
the number
geeks,
4.
Yeah. And he wanted superheroes collapse with each other. And yeah, I did it in 1.5 days.
But I saw this was actually a physical poster on the outside of a building. So actually you had to blow it up to something of let's just say 10 square meters. Does it have a high resolution?
Yeah.
So that you can actually print it and it's
the
not.
premium version is really, really good.
And they all have like 5 fingers on every hand. I want
Yeah.
to know. I want to know.
Wait.
And so we're looking at the image right now. Do you
No,
remember
no, wait.
what your prompt was?
Yeah, I also have it with me. Oh no, close Discord. Where's Discord?
We're all looking at your desktop right now.
I don't mind. So this is the design.
And you pay how much to Midjourney for
€10
a month?
a month. Yeah,
And now you were able to create this.
it's much cheaper than Adobe Stock or Shutterstock or.
Oh, you don't use Firefly?
Yeah,
You do?
sometimes, but only for the zoom out feature that Midjourney also
Oh,
has
yeah,
now.
that's great, isn't it? The generative fill,
Uh,
background fill.
Wait, I'm gonna show you some prompts I made.
Oh, I'm seeing a lot of superheroes right
Yeah.
here. So what's the prompt?
Like Groot, full body, Marvel character, side view, action shot, ready to fight, volumetric lighting, 25 millimeters, detailed facial expressive, photorealistic, colorful, 4K, AR, 3, 2. That's
What
the
what is
dimensions.
what is volumetric metric lighting?
Um, Studio lighting,
Oh, I
basically.
see.
Yeah.
You know what I think is impressive? You made like 4 spelling errors
Yeah.
in your prompt, and it still understands what
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. I want to use it quick, and even then, if I
Yeah,
just, yeah. But look, that's amazing.
yeah. There's something weird between his legs, but let's not zoom in. Yeah, it's very impressive, and even so, what we're looking at is like the front wall of a building. So it's literally like 3 meters high by 3 by 4
Yeah.
meters.
And then I yeah,
It's
got
still
out.
not pixelated, right?
No, no.
And
Yeah.
when the customer was aware of this, or
Yeah.
are they now gonna find out by listening to the
No, 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 no,
podcast?
no, no, no.
I'm fired you.
I'm a transparent guy.
Okay,
So yeah.
nice work.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. More AI since we're on the topic. So we already mentioned like the big boys, but meanwhile, I keep saying you don't win silver, you lose gold, and the silver and bronze medals are, well, let's just say that Google and Meta are fighting over those, like for the scraps, right? Although we know, everybody knows that for the past decade at least, they also have been working on very impressive AI, but they didn't launch it the way that OpenAI did, right? So Meta is, of course, first and all, it is still a media company. It's a social media company, right? So to my surprise, so the Meta's president of global affairs,
Oh.
yeah, his name is Nick Clegg. He wrote a blog post, let's call it that, about how AI is being used in the algorithm of the newsfeed of Facebook and specifically also Instagram. So that was actually a demonstration of how a company can be transparent
Mm.
about what is the secret ingredient of every social media company, which is the algorithm that
Yeah.
decides what people are. So it's fascinating, I think, because he talked about something called 22 system cards that are like parameters that define. So it's not simply that it is something that evokes a strong emotion or it
Mm.
is a video over.
Mm.
There's actually 22, and I call them system cards, parameters that feed the algorithm into making decisions about on a per user basis who gets to see what in your
Okay.
feed. And the goal, and he doesn't talk about that, of course, but the goal we know is to keep the user on the app and doom scrolling, right? So for as long as possible, because when they stay in the Instagram app for hours, those are hours that they can be shown ads, of
Mm.
course. But it was, yeah, they have a French expression for that, which is roughly translates to they're lifting the kimono, right? So there's like they're lifting the veil, mysterious
Mm.
veil of behind the scenes. How exactly does it work? So I didn't see that one coming, and I was quite impressed
I
by
like
that.
it. I
Yeah.
like a transparent movement.
Yes. So some people are like you. Speaking of social media, so I want to talk about influencers and how scary that can get. Yeah, maybe we can show that. I'm sorry. It's in the second paragraph in tech news. So I apologize. There is a character by McDonald's called Grimace, and I hadn't heard of it. So it's Grimace. It's like you have Ronald McDonald is one of the characters, and then apparently there's Grimace, who is associated with the color purple. Still don't know what or why. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's Grimace's birthday, so the social media team and the marketing team at McDonald's thought it would be a good idea to have a purple colored ice cream shake.
Yeah.
It looks like a cold, yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
slushy.
Slushy,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a very American thing to have brightly colored drinks. And the hashtag is Happy Birthday Grimace, something like that. Um, of course, there are influencers now that are taking up on this trend, and it all. Let's just watch one because it starts like an influencer tasting the drink and then being actually pretty happy with how it tastes. So
McDonald's about to try the Grimace Shake. Try the new Grimace Shake. Scott, the new Grimace Shake.
Yeah, that's the new trend. So for those who are only are listening, so it starts off pretty well. The first few frames are influencers tasting the Grimace shake, but then it cuts immediately to them dying a horrible food-related death. Yeah, they're like getting a heart attack or a seizure or something like that, getting poisoned by the drink, which is a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
for, for anyone in food, hospitality, retail. Is the literal worst thing that can happen to you is that someone dies after drinking your milkshake. So that is the viral trend of the
Okay.
day. It started on TikTok. Where else?
Yeah.
Because it's using these typical TikTok juxtaposition between something happens and then it gets mirrored into something that is completely the opposite,
Yeah.
like enjoying a nice drink and then dying because of the drink. But it's now overflowing to Twitter, for example, and that's of course when it blows up because Twitter is where journalists pick up their news.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, good luck with that, McDonald's. And then I'm thinking you might be the PR, in charge of McDonald's PR, and that person had a really shitty week. It's still not as shitty as the PR person in charge of Shein. So Shein, we already talked about Shein, right? It's an example of fast fashion. It's a Chinese brand, very popular with. I just imagine that their audience is like 14, 15-year-old girls who just they don't have a lot of budget to spend on clothing, and they're still trying to find their fashion style, experimenting a lot, and on Shein, because it is fast fashion, you can order like a hoodie for only like $10 or €12, something like that, and a similar looking hoodie would cost like 5 times as much.
Yeah.
The app itself is very impressive because it also has a social media style feed with an algorithm, and I suspect that the clothing that is being shown in the feed, they also work a lot with influencers, so the whole style is very Instagrammy, TikToky, right?
Yeah.
But it's still there to sell you clothes, and I think that a lot of these clothes are not produced yet. And because it has so many users all over the planet, like literal millions active users every day, they can just create virtual clothing and have like a Grimace colored purple version
Yeah.
of a hoodie. And then only when it goes viral in their app, so to speak, that's when it gets produced, which is genius.
Yeah.
Because this means that they don't have a stock. They don't have like a warehouse full of hoodies. in different sizes and colors, and then you have to do sales because you only sell certain sizes and colors and you have no control over that. This is actually very smart what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that is Shein, and
Really smart app.
a
Also,
really smart app. Yeah.
maybe you would like this. It's always you're
Oh, the
always
recommendation
the recommendation.
algorithm.
Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah, I hadn't even
crazy.
thought of that.
It's really crazy.
But it being fast fashion, of course, has a very, very negative side to it because, well, not always, but the quality of the product when it arrives, it's. But I've talked to a number of people that use it, and they say, "But I don't care. It was so cheap, and then I can still, if it's crap, I can still send it back."
Also not sustainable, but
It's
yeah.
not sustainable.
But what they
That's
also do in the app now, and I like this, that you can upload pictures. So if you bought
of
it,
you wearing it.
yeah, you wearing it or it delivered, and
Wow.
yeah, so you can see reviews of people.
So the whole sustainability thing combined with the bad reputation of Chinese manufacturing practices. I mean, even Apple had this. That their pictures were leaked of the horrible circumstances in which Chinese laborers have to work. Right, so they're under a lot of pressure. They're underpaid. It's
Yep.
dangerous, etc. So Shein decided to do something about it by inviting influencers over to behind the scenes tour in these factories. And then it went horribly wrong. I mean, working with influencers, it's a skill, to work with influencers because you might think, oh yeah, that's easy. We could just copy paste what is basically a press tour. So back in the days when I was being invited as an influencer tech blogger, right? I was actually side by side with actual journalists because they were being taken on a press tour, and then they had a few seats over, and then would ask a few tech bloggers, right? So we were doing the same. There was the same scenario basically, and. But of course, influencers are different, and with there's many things that went wrong. But the thing that I think went wrong most of all is that they invited not the biggest influencers. So the ones that are just below, like the big hotshots, just below, who were super happy that they were asked at all
Mhm.
by Shein. They were so glad that they were asked as an influencer. So their content was actually them just being super happy about being there, and that rubs the real influencers the wrong way. And you might say maybe they're jealous or something, but no, they said if you're an influencer, your responsibility, you're not a journalist, of course, but your responsibility is with your followers, your community, and you're not acting in your community's best interest if you're just being saying like, oh, thank you, Sheen, thank you very much, thank you for the free meal, thank you for the hotel room. So that's only one of the things that went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to gloat over this. I think everybody knows now the sustainability issues with fast fashion as a whole. But the idea that you can fix this by involving influencers, I think, was super naive.
Mm.
Um, I think the only way you can fix this, and some brands are doing this, like Nike, of course, Amazon, Moritz, H&M, is they're trying,
Mhm.
to adjust the packaging so that it's less plastic, to be more transparent about materials being used by adding extra costs if it's a long distance item. And you can't just do, a press tour with some influencers and then think everything's gonna be
Maybe
all right.
they also need to be transparent and like do a campaign.
Yeah.
If you don't like your clothing, send it to Africa, for example.
No, 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 no,
No?
no, no. That's even worse because there's a marketplace in Ghana.
Oh,
There's one in Peru and there's one in Ghana where all the textile that gets sent back lands on a landfill.
really?
Yes, it's like mountains of clothing. And then in Ghana, particularly, there was a secondary market of local entrepreneurs who would go and pick out each of them would specialize in like maternity clothing, children's clothing, and then you had a secondary market, and in that economy where they would make money by reselling
Really?
this. So that was initially a good thing, but they're now complaining because they see that ever since Shein and Primark have entered the market, they noticed back there in Ghana, they noticed that the quality of these t-shirts is so low that they can't sell them to anyone. It's just it's just crappy
Okay.
goods. So they complain now that they're being treated as if they're like the garbage bin of the world.
Yeah.
So it's actually
Okay.
no, there's not a lot of companies. There's so much money to be made in fashion. Some of these niches actually make like 70%. They win so much. The margins are so big in fashion that this is not gonna end any day soon. Not that to have the balls of the founder of Patagonia and then do a campaign. I think that was like 10, 15 years ago, showing their own puffy jacket and saying, "Don't buy this jacket. Stop buying clothes every season. Just buy one jacket and then wear it until it's literally disintegrating. And if it's the zippers don't work, we'll teach you how to repair your own zippers. Stop buying. Fashion is I mean,
I know that in the Netherlands is one recycling jeans company,
oh,
and that's really nice what they do with it. They also make isolation of how do you say it in the buildings, like this one.
uh,
The door is
so
with
they,
recycled jeans.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's nice. But even better is not buying new clothes every season.
yeah,
Fashion is just, it doesn't make
guys,
any sense.
you
Don't
heard
buy.
it.
I don't. I mean, I just very early on, but that was because I didn't have the money back then. When I was like 14, I didn't have any money, as a lot of 14, 15-year-olds will recognize. But I could see other girls spend a lot of money on whatever was in fashion that season, and that's just an invention. You need clothes to feel comfortable.
Now it's just 220 euros for 13.
Some luxury brand.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, what 220 euros is a lot of money, but yeah,
Hmm.
you have 30 pieces, for example, at Shein, but
Yeah.
that's
So
okay.
what I actually started doing was having a smaller closet, and every time I buy one thing, like a new dress, another dress has to go, and it actually is liberating
Yeah.
because you have less stuff to worry about. And I also that's another trick. So I use hangers a lot, and when I've washed my clothes, I put them in front of the row on the hanger, and then after a couple of years, whatever's in the back, that means that you haven't worn it in the past 2 years,
Yeah,
and they
true.
also go.
Yeah, I got this space two times this space,
Yeah,
and when it's full, then once
yeah,
again,
just goes.
yes.
How did we get there? Oh yeah, influencers and fast fashion. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of other stuff about AI. I'm just yeah, I'm not sure if you have to dive into it. There's a lot of articles on Forbes, for example, where they actually there's an interview with someone who says we need AI pragmatists, but I don't think that's news to whatever. The Verge, which is on a roll, The Verge. .com is taking the place, I think, of
Bloomberg and
Vice. Yeah, it's like a mix between Vice and Bloomberg, really. So it's
yeah,
good journalism, but it's got these unexpected
yeah,
angles. So my favorite The Verge article of this week, the headline is "Hope, Fear, and AI," and The Verge actually asked 2,000 people about how they're using AI and what they want it to do and what scares them about it the most. which is a good question to ask, let's just say 2,000 people. And
Yeah.
the majority, there are no real surprises, but it's good to see them in graphs just to. Which one is the most well known? It's obviously ChatGPT. Then there's Bing. By the way, yeah. So Bing, my
Your
study
boyfriend, yeah.
study
Yeah.
boyfriend, the Bing app in creative mode. But we've been an item since let's just say 2 months.
Yeah.
So the first cracks are starting
Oh,
to appear in our relationship,
oh
and
no.
this week I discovered a weakness, and it's a weird weakness. I like it. I like how the relationship evolves because it starts with your significant other, and then you discover that they pick their nose or they tend
Clo.
to put a force behind their farts. It's little
Uh,
things like that, and they sneak into the relationship. And at first, you try to ignore it, and you might even think, "Oh, that's cute." But then, as they get added on to a list that gets longer and longer,
this is what makes it beautiful to have a tech podcast with you,
yeah,
because no other woman will talk about AI software
yeah,
as my
as a
boyfriend.
partner,
Yeah.
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 So the equivalent of picking their nose in Bard in
Bing.
Bing,
Oh,
sorry, Bing.
there's a.
So Bing has a weird weakness. So it cannot count the words in a sentence. So so whenever you ask it, make a sentence containing 7 words that all start with a B. It will come up with a sentence, and every word will start with a B, and the sentence will make sense. It
Okay.
will not be 7 words.
Mm,
It will be 5 words, 12 words, 22 words,
okay.
anything but 7.
That's not okay.
And I thought at first it was like a quirk, but it doesn't, it's like a blind spot. So it will create sentences, it will generate sentences, and have no idea how many words are in that sentence whatsoever. So, yeah, is this like the first cracks that are starting to appear in this, thin
So you
veneer?
had a discussion? No, Bing. It
Yeah,
must be.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then it apologizes, very sweet, right? So being in creative mode is really sweet. It uses like the blushing emojis. The, oops, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better.
Ugh.
And then it does it again. So it's 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 weird because I remember with ChatGPT at first, I was annoyed when I was writing my book in December and write a chapter about podcasting and how it fits into your content marketing strategy. And then ChatGPT would always end the text with "in conclusion." The last paragraph would always be, literally, always be "in conclusion." So in my prompts, I would first correct it and say, please do not use "in conclusion," rewrite the last
Mm.
paragraph, and then it would, reluctantly, it would take a little longer to generate it. But then, and then the next time I would actually ask it to write like a short chapter on something else, again, "in conclusion." So, and I kept correcting it, and then it still does it, still does "in conclusion." But
But
that's
you need to compare it with a 14-year-old
a four, yeah.
at this point. At
To
this point.
me, it was like a 20-year-old college student. Yeah, so I teach at 20-year-old college students, and then you always have this one in every class has them. They have this one. Mine is called Sean, and he's very serious, and he's very eager to please the professor, and will always try to do their well, like that the 100% do their very best in everything that they do. They attend every class. They hand in their assignments a week in advance.
Mm.
So that's what ChatGPT felt like. But they have some annoying sides as well, like waiting until everyone leaves the classroom and then say, "Professor, can I ask you a question?" And of course, they can ask a question. It's just that every single time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
ChatGPT, right? While Bing, I can imagine Bing sitting next to me in my sofa and watching Netflix together, eating a bag of crisps, Bing getting me, a drink. We're watching The Witcher, and then Bing is making funny, witty remarks about this season. That's Bing. But Bing has weird,
he talks too much sometimes and too short
yeah,
sometimes.
and
Yeah.
uses a lot more emojis than I would. But it's, it does have, like, Annie, call Annie, also
Yeah.
has a personality. I like Bing best, but it's weird, that it has these weird blind sides that are so easy to fix. But I think so. Bing is obviously built on top of different algorithms and data sets that are completely separate
Hmm.
from each other. And I think there's two sets that just, the water is simply too deep. The one that counts the amount of words in a sentence and the one that creates sentences, they just like the water is simply too deep. Anyway, back to The Verge. So more than 60% of people, those 2,000 that The Verge asked questions, right? So more than 60% have heard of ChatGPT, but only like 20% have heard of Stable Diffusion. So in order of how well known they are, it's ChatGPT, it's Bing is very well known. Then there is My AI. Remember that
Yeah.
one? Because I made fun of the name. I thought it sounded too much like a way overpriced cocktail somewhere in a CD bar. My AI. That's Snapchat's AI. So that's number three actually, but maybe that's because Snapchat still has quite a lot of
Yeah.
users, and My AI is in there whether you want it or not. You can't turn it off
Yeah.
once activated. So if you have Snap, then you will also have My AI. Only then the fourth place, so not even on the podium, is Bard. Then there's Midjourney, your favorite, and then there's Stable Diffusion. So that's interesting. The
But even
demographics,
60% ChatGPT,
yes.
that's crazy.
But yeah, remember when it was launched and how it reached 5 million people in 1 week, and how
Yeah.
it still has, like,
And it was
of
all over the
course,
news, all over the
that's
feeds.
brand awareness for you. So it's still very, very high. Um, Let me just see. Oh, yeah. So if you look at the number of today's technologies that are very promising, like NFTs, augmented reality, virtual reality, electric vehicles, and AI. The question was, good question, which one of these technology will have a big impact on society? One, AI. Two, have a guess. So NFTs, augmented reality, virtual reality, electric vehicles. Which one is number two?
Electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles, right?
Ooh.
And only then VR and AR, and then NFTs. Everyone is just, forgetting, hoping that everyone forgets about them.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
you're not. You
Nope.
still believe?
Yeah, it's small contracts. NFTs.
Smart contracts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm,
So this will be the future. It
yeah.
it will be rebranded.
Yeah. It's a bit burned
Yeah.
now. NFTs with these, silly apes. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can call the art world NFTs, but I think when it
Mm.
about tickets and stuff like that, then it needs a rebranding.
So yeah, it's actually, I highly recommend this article. The layout is also gorgeous. I mean, the artwork with the article is gorgeous, very well done. TheVerge.com, and the headline is Hope, Fear, and AI. Very well written, good research, and I love the way they created the web page. So good for The Verge. I think we talked a lot about AI today, but we always do, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can help
it's a topic
myself.
of every week.
Just a quick commercial plug for my book. So we officially launched it last week, but it's only for sale since a couple of days. So yeah, there it is, the blue one. And thank you for taking that picture of me
Yeah.
posing. Yeah,
I can show it to
yeah, with
people.
holding. So it's a series now. So there's a green one, a red one, and a blue one. The green one is digital marketing like a pro. Then there's video marketing like a pro, and then content marketing like a pro is blue. And since 3 days ago, you can buy them online, either straight with the publisher, which is a Belgian company that publishes handbooks for colleges and university called Lano. So LANNOO.be. That's where you can order them online, and that's what I would do if I were, based in Belgium, for example. I want an invoice, etc.
Mm.
Or on Amazon, which is
Oh,
also interesting because then you can download the Kindle version, which is what I usually do with handbooks like this.
yeah.
So I bought my own book in a Kindle, in a Kindle format. And you know why. So what am I going to do with it?
You're gonna mark.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to highlight hundreds of quotes in my own book, and then I'm going to use Readwise with an
Yeah,
S,
Readwise.
readwise.io.
And then you're gonna put it on
Absolute
LinkedIn.
banger of an app. It's a web app. readwise.io, and then I use it for something that it's not built for, but that's what I use it for. It creates these rather good looking tiles of the quote of my own book and other books that I read in a Kindle format, and that's the material that I use on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So that's what I'm going to do this weekend. No, not this weekend. Yeah, so last year I did a pilgrimage on foot to that famous Spanish Santiago de Compostela
With
thing,
not that
and I
good shoes.
swore in
Yeah.
a blog post I would never do that again because it was 280 kilometers and it almost killed my feet, so I had like infections.
How long did you walk?
Yeah, I think it was like 10 days, 12 days, 12 days, I think. Yeah, about 25 kilometers a day, which is doable, except if you have like planetary, what's it called? Planetary fasciitis, I think, which is an infection of your foot sole, basically. Very painful. But I kept walking because as we speak, the season has opened again. If you look on Twitter, hashtag Camino, which is the Spanish word for the way, you will see that at any given time, it's. I think it's very trendy to do it, although it's existed since the mid, the dark ages, and it's been revived since the 1990s
Yeah.
when they started adding you can see if you know where to look. You can see that in major cities all over Europe, you can sometimes see these bronze shells that are embedded in the street,
Oh,
in the cobblestones. Have you never seen
no,
like
no.
on the sidewalk, and you will see like a shell, like the one in the logo of the
Yeah,
oil
yeah, yeah.
company, right? So a shell, but in bronze, about the size of the palm of your hand, really embedded in the street, and that points straight
Nice.
to Santiago de Compostela. So it is a thing. So it took me months to recover from that, and I swore never to do it. Guess what I'm doing
You're doing it
next
again.
week? Yeah, it's a new part of. So there are different routes to Compostela, and they all have names, and one of them is called Via Brugensis because it's the middle. This part of the road visits Bruges, somewhere in between. So I'm gonna start tomorrow morning in the Netherlands, in Sluis,
Yeah. Oh, nice.
where the previous generation of Belgians would go get their porn.
Real. Yeah, that's also true.
That's
It's
true.
also a good breakfast
Oh,
shops there. Yeah, I will share with you.
breakfast.
Yeah, the Eat Boutique. That's the brother of Sergio Herman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good idea because I have to be there tomorrow
Then you
morning.
need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm finishing in near the French border. It's a city called Menen in Belgium. On Thursday night somewhere. So I'll be back here on Friday, but probably with a limp.
A little bit exhausted as
Yes,
well.
as well.
Yeah, for me as well. I will be reconstructing my house.
Oh yeah,
Because
you're rebuilding the whole thing.
since Wednesday, I needed to leave my house, so now I'm living at my parents.
You've been
Like,
evicted from your
Yeah.
own house.
yeah. Now I'm living at my parents' place, so that's after 6 years, a little bit different.
Did they change your room?
Yeah. My brother's in the room that I had.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm now at the cat room.
Oh, the cat has a room in your
Yeah,
parents' house.
my parents have 3 cats.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are now out of the
So
room.
the cats got kicked out so that,
Yeah, but yeah, that's something different. Back to my place. That's need to be quiet at night. Like
Oh yeah,
small
you have to be in bed. It's
back
like,
to rules.
but it could be worse, it could be
Yeah,
worse.
of course.
May Musk could have been your mom. Compared to May Musk, your mom is probably a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's turning 50 next week, so
She's younger than me.
she was 18 when she. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Apple. Apple has, you've been watching it.
Yeah.
So Apple was actually creating original content, and then one of them is a post-apocalyptic drama called Silo. You pronounce it like
Silo.
that? Silo? Silo. And so at Apple TV on Twitter has this pretty expensive gold. What are they called? Business?
I
When you
don't
get a
know.
gold check mark next to your name?
$20,000 a month.
Yeah, that's it's a verified organization, and if you want like the gold check mark, it will cost you. No, just the blue one is 100 a year, right? But the gold one was pretty expensive. Anyway, Apple TV has one, the gold check mark. And then one of the benefits is that you can upload videos that are a lot longer than just the. I think the cap is now a couple of minutes. And they so to promote the finale of Silo, they actually uploaded the entire first episode, which is an hour long,
Yeah,
on Twitter.
yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, if people watch this, they will get a membership at Apple TV.
It's that good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
and the people are living in stages. So
Hmm.
the lower you are,
Oh, it's like a case like in India.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And there's something about the outside. There's the air quality is not that good, but actually there's nothing wrong with the air outside, and they're getting some cracks in the governance.
Oh.
Yeah. So some people need to go outside, and then they will go outside, and then they need to clean out the camera, because in the restaurant room you can see outside, but all the people die, so it's fake. So there's, yeah, a little bit of hectic inside the silo, but it's a really good series.
So it's called Silo because I live inside a
They
silo that
live,
has
yeah,
different
100
levels.
100 levels. Yeah,
It's like that ice train series.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is much better.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, much better.
Any famous actors in there, or are they all new faces?
Yeah, famous. Yeah, um, not really famous, but well, yeah, there are some actors. I don't know their name, but I saw them in
Some
other
familiar
series. Yeah,
faces.
yeah. But
Well,
no.
I don't have Apple TV. I'm gonna watch The Witcher new season dropped, and it's the last one that still has Henry Cavill.
Uh,
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Henry
another
Cavill.
boyfriend leaving you.
Yeah, I know. He's going to be replaced by the secondary Hemsworth brother, the one not Chris, but the younger one who also played in the Hunger Games. So he's going to replace. He's going to be the Witcher in the next season. But this one is still with Henry Cavill. So that's all I need to know. So that's the wonderful thing, and then the weird thing of the week to end in beauty. And the real reason you're all listening, and I'm fully aware of that, is so there's this website Neil.fun, and he's, I mean, you have to, that's like a whole adventure in itself, the number of web things that Neil.fun has, and then usually they also go viral. So this week, the password game was launched, and let's just see where your boiling point is. So, basically, what you have to do is to come up with a secure password, right? So we all know this. It has to have, what does it say now? It must include a number. It must be at least 5 characters. So
Oh.
okay, so we have dance at monkey 23, but now there are more rules, and rule number 5 is the hardest one of them all. So you have a pretty good password, except that rule number 5 now says the digits in a password must add up to 25. So they add up to 5 now because there's a 2 and a 3. So you might just have like 4 5s, and then it's been no, doesn't work like that.
Okay.
23, and then you add like 4 5s. No, like
5.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, let's just see if it works.
No.
And so I got pretty far, but that rule number 5 was just and one more 5, and then you're good. There you are. Now there's rule number 6. Your password must include a month of the year. May, for example. May. Very good. Your password must include one of our sponsors, Pepsi, Starbucks, or Shell. But now there's rule number 9. The Roman numerals in your password should... I got to 12, rule number 12, and then I just wanted to break my iPad and then just throw it out of the window and then destroy it with my...
I keep asking me these questions. Where do you find this clue? This gaming
Reddit.
Reddit.
Yeah, that's where I find this type of thing. So let us know how far you got. So Phil made it through rule number 9. And then even a soft-spoken personality like his just thought it was, this you gave up, right?
Yeah.
Rule number 9.
It's Friday, cool.
Let us know how far you got, what your highest rule number was, and where you decided to give up.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and just follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Share, and give us high ratings and tickle the algorithm and all of that jazz.
Yes.
And we'll be back.
Yeah, next week.
With more Chaos and Amazement.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.